Campos Racing have announced a very exciting lineup for 2025 as they bring in two Red Bull juniors in Pepe Martí and the F3 graduate in Arvid Lindblad as they look to go and get that title they just missed out on with Isaac Hadjar in 2024. Different situations really with these two drivers. Pepe Martí, a returning driver, a driver who showed so much promise at the start of 2024, started with 2 podiums at the start of the season in Bahrain, and then really racked up a load of DNFs, nearly got into double figures, but he ended the season with a win, and that will give him a huge amount of confidence going into 2025. Let's look at the driver that's going to be joining him, Arvid Lindblad. He's already being talked about by Christian Horner, Red Bull Racing team principal. That's because of the wins he's been racking up in FIA Formula 3. He took a record equaling 4 wins along what was a championship assault throughout his campaign. Didn't quite get there in the end through Monza, but his double win at Silverstone in particular was very, very impressive. And he did that at the age of just 16 years old. This young talent is definitely one to watch, Arvid Lindblad, and you can't put it past him that he could come straight into Formula 2 and turn some heads. So this one definitely a very exciting lineup, and I think one that is going to cause some stick coming into the Formula 2 season. That's certainly what I think. But here to help us unpack what is a very exciting lineup for Campos Racing, someone who knows a little bit more about Formula 2 than me, I think. Feeder Series F2 editor Kalle Krakaski. Kalle, tell us what you think about this Campos Racing lineup.
I think the Campos lineup is really interesting, both from a team perspective and from a driver perspective. Last year with Hadjar, we saw them challenge for both titles, the Drivers' Championship and the Team's Championship, and they were second in both. But before that, Campos had been consistently at the back of the F2 field. So clearly they came to grips with a new car quicker than a lot of teams did, and obviously had a very talented driver in Hadjar, and also had Pepe Martí, who got extremely unlucky with a lot of DNFs. I think, they had a mix of bad luck and some mistakes from both the drivers and the team last year that hurt them in the way of getting to the championships. I'm thinking of I believe it was Hungary when Hadjar was supposed to start third and couldn't make it out of the pit lane for the formation lap. So he had to start at the back of the grid. So there were some mistakes there which showed that maybe the team wasn't used to fighting at the front. But they still had a really strong year. They have a returning driver, which should provide them some experience and some strength in Pepe Martí. And they also have one of the highest touted rookies, who is, like you mentioned, already being looked at for, possibly a Formula 1 seat. So they have a lot going on in there. I think they could probably challenge for both titles once again, maybe win them, but that'll also come down to whether, the other teams are fully coming to grips with the car that is on its second year, and whether that kind of advantage they had from understanding it right away will last. Also on the driver's side, Lindblad has probably the highest expectations of anyone in this field, just based on the amount of attention that he's getting. He is in a sort of similar situation this year as Antonelli was in last year. They both have come up through the ladder pretty quickly. Obviously, Antonelli skipped F3, which, like you mentioned, Lindblad was very successful in. But, they are both 17-year-old drivers in their first year of F2, already kind of being pointed at as a potential Formula 1 candidate. So that puts a similar type of pressure on him that Antonelli had last year. Currently, he's doing very strongly in the Formula Regional Oceania Championship, which might provide him some momentum coming into this year. But again, he's still a rookie and he's only 17. So like Antonelli had, there will probably be some growing pains through this series. I think Martí is also in an interesting position because not only is he Lindblad's Campos teammate, but he's also his Red Bull Junior team stablemate. But it seems like, if to make another comparison, he's kind of in a similar situation as Tsunoda is in the Formula One stage, where they seem less interested in promoting him and more interested in using him as kind of a yardstick for their other drivers, which, you know, might be a little unfair. But he is also has experience, a year of experience. Like you said, he ended the season on a high. So I think he will have a lot of reasons to come in and try to succeed right away in the championship this year.
All very interesting points. Definitely two drivers who can make a huge impact straight away. It's going to be a very exciting lineup for Campos Racing. That's what Calla thinks. Tell us what you think in the comments below.